Well, I have my wherever water tank out in the garage. This is my workbench. I also have another hobby. I've got an old Toyota Land Cruiser, so I've got car parts here. Actually, my workbench has been messier than this, believe it or not. I'm working on this G-scale camp car. Got my engines up here. So I have a lot of different hobbies, and this workbench has to serve many purposes. Actually, this workbench was made by my grandfather. He used to repair TVs in his basement, and that's what it looked like when it was in the basement. He died in 1970, so that was 50 years ago. He died, and that's actually what it looked like when we were cleaning it up. So he was a lot more skilled than I am. Anyhow, back to the water tank. I decided I wanted to add a red light to it. So first thing I had to do was I had to drill a hole. This is a Shapeways kit. So the bottom was already like this, but the tube that came with it was like this. And there's no way I was ever going to get any wires through there. So I went to the hobby shop, bought some brass tubing. I think I can run some wires through that if I'm going to have to cut the plug off. I've got the Just Play system from Woodland Scenics. This is the actual LED. Let's see if I can get it to, I can't get it to focus on it. Pretty tiny. So I think I can thread that up through, or actually down through that hole and through the wire. Cut the plug off the end, so I'm going to solder that back on, and hopefully I can get that back together and on the layout this weekend. Just now getting into the that system, so I didn't realize I needed to have like a hub to plug these into. Hopefully they'll come today, and I'll be able to show you this on Sunday. I think that's about it for now. I do have some light poles, but they're in the on the layout, so I'll talk about that when I get in there. Well, I've got the lights off in the room. I guess one of the problems with having a model railroad is when you have lights, it's hard to get them to not show on the backdrop. But my flashing light turned out pretty well on the water tank. Also, while I was at it, I came on down to the wherever office building, and I put in some street lights in the parking lot. Got 3 of them in there, and I've got a little porch light, and I've lit up the office. I'll probably have to put some kind of semblance of an office interior in there, maybe just a picture or something, just so it looks like there actually are people working in there. But one of the problems with adding lights, as you can see, is now you're almost forced to put lights on everything to make it look good. So that's going to be an ongoing project. I think it'll be kind of fun. But I do really like the Woodland Scenics lighting system. Well, the room lights and the layout lights are back on now. It looks kind of subdued when you've got the lights back on. I usually don't even turn them on when I'm running trains, unless I'm going to, simulate dusk or something. One other thing that I haven't shown you yet is I did put in some New Jersey International, I think is the company, crossing flashers. And right now I just have a toggle switch to turn them on and off. I've got some sensors that I could put under the track, but when your track is already ballasted, plus I have 3 tracks, I'd have to do it for 3 tracks. Might be kind of difficult. They also make kind of like they shine horizontally across all 3 tracks. But then you have to hide the sensors. Of course, the ones facing away from you aren't really a problem, but the ones facing toward you could be somewhat of an issue. So for now, I just got this switch I turn on and off. Just like one of my subscribers talked about, if you lived on this street, you're constantly walked by trains because it's there's a lot of switching going on in my layout. It's not like that in real life, especially now that there's only one of these industries that still is in business, and it's quite a distance from the crossing. But in its day, yeah, it could be busy quite a bit. It could have been blocked quite a bit, and they had crossing gates there now. But you know, I didn't want to mess with the gates. The flashers are good enough for me. That's about it for this layout update. It's kind of short, so I'm going to throw in a little bit of switching here with my Western Maryland engine, and then we'll close the video. Yeah, we've got a little bit of work at ITT Grinnell. We have one boxcar, SP boxcar in spot 1, and we're going to put this chassis boxcar in spot 2. Now we don't want to get the engine inside the building, so we're going to leave the chassis boxcar here, pull these 2 cars out, and use them as spacers to spot the B&O boxcar, or the chassis boxcar, in spot 2. Then we'll pull back out, put this SP boxcar on the main line, and we'll respot the Seaboard Coastline boxcar at the siding. This Western Maryland engine runs pretty well, but it has an old decoder in it, and so it actually has to, it won't even start moving till about speed step 30. I'm using an NCE power cab. The GP7 you've seen me switch with, it starts moving at 1. I can creep it 1, 2, 3. It runs really well. This thing will not even move until 30. Usually I run at about 40 as the reasonable speed. Once you realize that, it runs pretty well. It's just a little bit tricky until you get used to it. So let's go ahead and get started with our switching. I'm just going to do this live stream, not going to stop. If something bad happens, you're going to see it. Yeah, I've already uncoupled from the B&O boxcar, so we're going to leave it on the main line. So I have to pull up past the switch. That's speed step 30. Make sure you have a good coupling. Looks like we do. Okay, we're going to back down, and then we'll open the door. My roof is removable. That's why I put these vents on here. So I have a handle, pull it off, and the door just slides up and out. So now I can back on in and pull the car. It is on a little bit of a curve here, so sometimes it doesn't couple, but that time it did. So now we'll pull everything out. We'll back down and get the chassis car to spot it in spot 2. Yeah, that's speed step 40 right there. That's a reasonable speed for switching, at least on a video. Looks like I got it. ITT Grinnell is a plumbing distributor. Actually had a siding, had doors on both ends of the building. Looked like in videos or pictures that they may have done most of the switching from the other end, but it doesn't have rail service now. And it's just a random warehouse now. I don't know what they actually do out of it. But you'll see trucks parked there occasionally. Okay, we're all the way to the end. Spot number 2. There we go. Okay, now we're going to put the SP boxcar back on the main line and respot the Seaboard Coastline insulated boxcar at Miller Distribution. If you've seen some of my other videos, these buildings are still there, but they're not used for the purpose that they were originally used for, and neither one of them has rail service now. As you can see, the engine runs fairly well. It's just hard to get used to having to throttle it up so high. Any other engine would be zooming around at that speed step. Okay, we've respotted the car, so now we can throw the switch back onto the SP car, and we can push it back to the yard. There's only one grade crossing. It's about half a mile back to the yard, so we don't really need to run around, just the one car. Make sure the coupling's good. While we're doing that, I'll put my door back, my roof back. These vents aren't there on the real building. I put them on there so I could get the roof on and off. A little bit of modeler's license. So now we can head back to the yard. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm traveling the next couple of weeks, so I don't know when I'll get another one up. I'm going to try to keep working on the lighting. Need to figure out what I need and order it. So everybody stay safe.